Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the Reason Analysis series on the All Truth Revealed channel. In these particular episodes, we are going to be discussing different aspects of how communication ought to take place in an effective manner. One of the aspects that we as human beings have developed is the usage of words. And words, as we are aware, can have impact when utilized in a particular manner. That can be positive or negative. Now, one of the things that we will realize is that in the current view of belief systems, every one of the belief systems has been banded under one common term, that being the word religion. The question, however, ought to be asked as to whether the word religion actually is in reality applying to the different belief systems in the manner that the belief systems themselves want the belief systems to be considered. Basically, can we find the word religion in these different scriptures of the different belief systems? In order to answer that question, we would first have to establish what the definition of the word religion is. The dictionary definition of the word religion is the belief in and the worship of a supernatural controlling power, especially in a personal god or gods. This particular definition, although it is a commonly understood definition, is not a definition that has been agreed by all the scholars. That, from my perspective, should ring a bell as to whether an appropriate word is being used for something that it is being applied to. Now, we are aware that words, definitions, over time have been restricted to particular usage also. So, as an example, if I were to take the word science, which comes from the word scientia, which means knowledge. If we were to apply the word knowledge, then it would necessarily bring in all aspects of study that humans undertake. That will mean it would include anything that a belief system considers. It would be knowledge. And if we were to apply the word science, it should apply to that also. However, we have found that over time, the word science has taken on a life of its own, and a method has been employed to determine how and what should fit within that word. Unfortunately, as a result of that, any other kind of knowledge just simply has been excluded. And even worse is the fact that vital aspects of very important evidence has been excluded and to a point totally discarded. Going back to the words, as we said, the words are very, very important when they are being applied in a proper context. Going back to the word religion, we find that the definition itself will not necessarily apply to all belief systems. If I consider the word religion, will I find it, say, in the Hindu scriptures? The answer is no. Would I find the word religion in the Bible? The answer is no. Will I find the word religion in the Quran? The answer is no. It therefore should beg the question, if the word is not in these scriptures, logic would apply here, and one would logically assume that if these belief systems, scriptures, are meant to be a form of guidance, then the guidance itself ought to tell us what that guidance should be considered as. Should it be considered as a religion? Well, if the word religion is not to be found in the various scriptures, then logic would dictate that that particular word ought not to be used. There is an added problem with this and the perspective of how the word religion is used. You see, if we take the word religion and consider it in detail, we find that the word religion actually comes from the word religare in Latin, which means to bind. There was this understanding that the soul of the human being should be bound to the Creator. Now, is that all it is? Is that what all belief systems are? I would submit that that is not the case. If, for example, the definition of the word religion is actually disputed, how then have we arrived at using this word as an umbrella word for every belief system today? We will find that up to the 15th or the 16th century, the Sanatan Dharma or Hinduism considered itself just as law. Prior to the 16th century, the word religion was not applied to Islam. In Islam also, anything related to Islam was considered only as the law. So what happened around the 15th or the 16th century that resulted in today every belief system being considered under one umbrella word, that word being religion? We will note from the historical sources, to the best of our abilities, that there was an incredible push from what now collectively is known as the Western world. Every aspect of study, consideration, developed from a Western mindset. And because literally they went all over the world, every educational element and system that was adopted by all these other countries was based on the Western methodology. Now, when I'm using the word Western, I'm not in any way trying to impute any negativity towards it. I'm merely considering what seems to have happened and how every belief system seems to have been caught up in how the Western world viewed matters. So we find that the word religion around the 15th or the 16th century developed a life of its own. So what happens as a result is that Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, in fact, every aspect of belief system came under this one umbrella. Although when you consider the belief systems, you will find that they do not necessarily agree with this particular definition. If we were to consider the word religion from the Islamic perspective, and especially from the Quranic perspective, I say this based on the idea or the notion that the Quran is a complete, comprehensive system of guidance. And as such, it certainly would not have left out this particular aspect, considering that it is meant to be the guidance for humanity. I would submit that if we were to look at the Quran logically, rationally, and reasonably, it will pass all the tests, and as such, it will actually even guide us as to what we should consider Islam as. Should we consider it as something else, or should we consider it as a religion? My submission is that looking at the details in the Quran, looking at the information and the evidence in the Quran, it is very clear that that Islam is not a religion. And as a consequence, we would not even be able to consider the Quran as a religious text. This perspective will naturally lead to the question as to what Islam is if it is not a religion, and what the Quran is if it is not a religious text. Inshallah, the Creator willing, we will be addressing these particular questions in detail in the next episode. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.